Columbia County Planning Board for the month of July, and doing it virtual. And did everybody get a chance to look over the minutes?
Yep.
So moves. Is there a second?
Second.
Who was that? Oh, Terry. Terry seconds. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? And
Okay.
where's Rick? Hi, Rick.
Okay,
Rick
Rick.
brought food.
Hey, Admiral.
You have to unmute yourself there, Rick, if you want to talk. Well, you can keep muted now, but I have Hookie and Rick and Steve are all muted, it looks like.
How's that?
There you go.
Okay, you're on.
Steve, you guys are muted. You got to turn your microphones on.
Oh,
Steve and Steve.
How's
Steve,
that?
Yeah, Hookie's on now.
Hookie's on now. We got to get
Oh, hi, Hookie.
Steve. There we go.
are you okay? Am I
Okay,
okay now?
now good.
Yep, everybody's good.
Green dots
Okay.
on.
Green dot's still muted.
So shall I begin?
Go for
Go
it.
ahead.
Oh, wait, here comes Cheryl.
Oh, there she is. Yeah.
Cheryl?
He's
Oh,
muted.
Cheryl.
You have to unmute also, Cheryl. You're muted.
Hey, Rick, reach over and unmute her. Oh, there you go.
Okay. Okay, there you are. You're good.
All right.
Oh,
I
Okay.
don't do Google a lot. I can never find this link. I have to go back and look at a bunch of emails to find the link. Could you just repeat the link when you do the referrals or the announcement? It would just be helpful. I have to find which of your emails has the actual link. That's why I'm late.
I have to turn my air conditioner off. I can't hear anybody. Hold on. There. Okay.
okay, so we're ready to start.
Yep. Okay. So the first project is 20027V Town of Hillsdale Town Board. It's local law number 1 of 2020. Adoption or amendment of a zoning ordinance or local law. This local law was submitted and then was withdrawn because they wanted to make some changes. So this is a resubmission. It's referred to as the local law amending the zoning and land use control law of the town of Hillsdale with respect to regulation of unsafe buildings and structures. Section 1, for the findings and the purpose, the town board found that unsafe buildings and structures pose a threat to the health, safety, and general welfare of the people of the town of Hillsdale. Buildings and structures may become unsafe by reason of damage by fire or other casualty, damage, the elements, age, or general deterioration. So the purpose of the law is to provide for the safety, health, protection, and general welfare of the people of the town of Hillsdale by requiring unsafe building structures to be repaired or demolished and removed as a last resort. So that provision basically would allow that to be, this law to be included in the zoning law. So it will affect 2 chapters. Chapter 14, definitions. They'll be adding 1 definition, unsafe building or structure, which is defined as any building or structure which is structurally unsound, unsanitary, not equipped with adequate ingress or egress, which constitutes a fire hazard, which has become unsafe by reason of damage by fire, the elements, age, or general deterioration, which in relation to an existing use constitutes a hazard to public health, safety, and welfare by reason of inadequate maintenance, dilapidation, obsolescence, abandonment, or which is otherwise dangerous to human life. So the second chapter that will be amended is Chapter 8, Supplementary Regulations. A new section will be added, 8.20, titled Unsafe Buildings or Structures. The unsafe buildings or structures are prohibited. Building inspector would deem the structure to be unsafe, and then once that is done, they would conduct an inspection and then create a report with their findings and recommendations and submit that to the town board. The town board then considers this report, and then by resolution, they will order the repair or removal or demolition of that structure. They'll also order a public hearing, at least 10 days notice to the owner to determine if the owner will remedy. If so, they will also assess all costs and expenses incurred by the town in the repair or removal and against the land on which the structure is located. So the next provision includes the required contents for the notice. It establishes the acquired, the name from the tax and deed records, a description of the premises and location, description of the structure, and a statement about the unsafe or dangerous conditions, to order requiring prompt repair to a safe and secure condition or removal, the time and place. The owner and occupant has the right to contest the order and the findings. Also, the owner and occupant, if they fail to contest and fail to comply, then the town board may order the repair, removal, and assess all costs and expenses incurred against the land on which the structure is located. There's also provision setting forth the service and filing of this notice, that a notice will be personally served to the owner. And if that person cannot be found, then it's sent by certified mail to the last owner of record of the property, and it's served to any adult person residing or occupying the premises. And also, the notice would be affixed to the exterior of the structure. It's also required to be filed in the county clerk's office, and it would be effective from 1 year from the date of filing. It may be vacated upon order of a judge or justice or upon the consent of the town attorney. For the hearing, it's conducted by the town board, before the town board, and at conclusion of the hearing, the town board determines by resolution whether or not to revoke the order, to repair or remove, to modify the order, or continue and affirm the order and direct the owner to remedy the unsafe conditions. For failure to comply, the town board may, again by resolution, require that the structure be made safe and secure, removed, demolished by town employees, independent contractors, or other lawful means available to the town. The cost assessed and collection, any cost incurred by the town will be recoverable from the owner, and that will include attorney fees, engineering fees, securing and demolishing, removing and repairing, serving the notices, any title searches, and the costs shall be added to the next assessment roll for the town taxes against the tax parcel. The town will also commence a special proceeding to collect the costs incurred by the town in enforcing the section. And should the town recover and be paid said costs through the proceeding, then the assessment roll and the tax records would be adjusted accordingly. They also include a provision for emergency cases that if the structure presents an imminent danger, the town board may by resolution authorize the building inspector or town engineer to immediately cause a repair or demolition with the expenses to be charged against the land. We didn't find any countywide impact from this. Just one comment that with respect to occupied buildings, consider if this proposed local law shall also require that the unsafe building be vacated and not reoccupied unless and until the building has been repaired and secured and the code enforcement officer has inspected and approved such repairs.
One question I have, Patrice, there is the right for the owner of the building to contest the order and findings, but what about an appeal process? once they determine that the building's got to come down, if the owner wants to appeal, he's gonna have to go in Article 78?
I believe so.
Wasn't there a hearing?
There's a public hearing, but again, that once the board makes their
Oh, yeah,
decision,
yeah. I
is
guess.
there an appeal process? And it's gonna have to be Article 78 then, if there's no other appeal process, so.
With somebody, I mean, I don't think we've ever seen one of these laws before. Usually they're standalone. Like I know the town of Austin has almost the exact same thing. To me, it doesn't make any sense to have it in here in the zoning, and it just seems like somebody may think that the ZBA has something to do with it too, as far as an appeals process. I don't know, it's like,
Well,
it's,
I don't know if the ZBA can entertain
I
an
wouldn't think
appeal
so.
from the town board.
the whole thing is convoluted. Why it's, to me, and I would add that as a comment that they may want to make it a standalone law.
What was your comment, Tim?
Just they may want to consider making it a standalone law. I don't know if that's the proper legal terminage.
Did you want to also add the comment about the appeals?
Oh yeah, I guess, but I think that's where you end up is Article 78. I think
Yeah.
because there's nobody left.
So to consider including a mechanism for appeals for the decision of the town board,
Mhm.
correct?
Right. Other than the Article 78.
Other than Article 70, okay.
That's a long, costly, drawn-out process.
Okay, you guys must have something similar to this in your laws, don't you?
No,
You don't have a,
I don't
you don't,
believe it. I haven't run into it yet.
all your buildings are in fine shape and everything.
Oh, yeah.
And
Listen, all of our buildings are being sold. If one day you go by, there's no sign. Next thing you know, sale pending.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Greenport has a freestanding, unsafe building law.
Well, you
Yeah.
got a good mayor in Greenport.
I saw that, yes. I'm glad he welcomed the credit union to the community.
Yeah,
His community, he said.
yeah.
Okay, so are there any questions or comments? If not, we'll entertain a motion with the comments.
I'll make a motion with comments as you.
Second it?
Second.
Who was the second?
Ed, you second. Oh,
Ed,
Steve Chrissy seconded.
Even in
Steve and Ed,
Steve.
correct?
Okay, and Steve, the two Steves. Yep.
Yeah.
The two Steves,
S2.
as two.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We got you, Cheryl.
Okay. Okay.
I think Cheryl's you got bad connection there, Cheryl. You're stuck.
Muted.
There we go.
Okay, so the next referral is 028V, the Town of Canaan Planning Board. The applicant is Karuna Tundai Dharma Center. The location 1525 New York State Route 295 to construct a columbarium. It's approval of a site plan. This was on the agenda last month, but it was a referral from the ZBA for a special use permit. There are no changes to the plans or information, but it's just a requirement because they referred it separately. So I can go through all of this again.
No, that's all right. Is there any comments, questions, or comments? If not, we'll entertain a motion. Cheryl so moves.
Second.
Second. Rick second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.
Okay. Okay, so that brings us to 20029V, the Town of Livingston Planning Board. The applicant is Chai Hammonds. The location is 786 Church Road. It's to construct an accessory structure number 2, issuance of a special use permit within 500 feet of the municipal boundary. This is the owner actually owns both of these parcels. The residential use is right here on this parcel, but the proposed meditation accessory structure would be on this longer parcel.
We
Now-
can't.
We don't see these.
You don't see them?
No, we can't. You need to click your presentation thing, Majigger.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Oh, you're done.
There it is.
Music and everything.
There we go.
There we go.
Now we're talking.
Back up one. There you
Yep.
go.
Okay, so this is the parcel layout for the applicant owns 2 parcels, parcel 1 and parcel 2. Parcel 1 includes the residential use, and parcel 2 will be the location for the meditation building. Now, the access to both parcels is from parcel 2 right here. So it comes along parcel 2, then it crosses over midway here and then provides access to the residential use. The access to the meditation building will be with a gravel path off of this access road. You can see that in this site plan. This is the right-of-way providing access to the residential parcel and the structures, and then this is the gravel path that will lead to the meditation structure, proposed meditation structure. There's an existing pond on site. And then this is some of the floor plans for the actual meditation building. I'll get to their, just want to get to the elevations. Okay. So the structure is proposed to house a meditation space, and there'll also be a water closet and storage area. The structure, which would be 3,640 square feet, its gross square footage, and includes the covered outdoor area as well as the cellar. As I mentioned, there's existing right-of-way off of Church Road, which is a town road that is existing. The pathway would be crushed stone leading from that driveway to the meditation structure. They're also proposing an on-lot septic system. It's a raised bed system, and they have submitted to the planning board or the Department of Health, who has determined that there is adequate capacity and to be able to accommodate this raised bed system, and the approval is forthcoming. They're also proposing an on-lot well. The proposed area of disturbance is 0.67 acres. They are proposing that stormwater drainage would be sheet runoff over land. And there are existing utilities accessing the residential parcel, and they are all underground on the parcel until they connect to the poles on the road. We didn't find any countywide impact from this, and just made a note that the septic system is under review and that the approval is forthcoming based on the information included in the email from the Department of Health.
So is this going to be a business, or is this just?
No, it's for private use. These meditation rooms are for private use, personal use.
Okay.
Amazing.
Commanding views of the landscape and the view shed. Quite
Nice
beautiful.
design there.
The sighting. Yeah, beautiful.
Curious how that's framed, huh, Rick?
Yeah.
What's the cellar used for?
Storage.
Storage.
A lawnmower.
Chicken coop.
Tunnel into it.
Is there parking?
It's a huge parcel.
Just a pathway to it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Personal use, you wouldn't need
from the
parking.
driveway, right?
It doesn't show vehicular access. It's just a crushed stone pathway coming
Right,
off
but from
the
a road. Pathways from the road or the driveway, whatever that.
from the driveway. Yes.
Park up at the house and walk there.
Yeah.
Okay. Very meditative.
Well,
How you gonna bend all that wood in a circle, Rick?
I don't
Wet it.
think about that.
any questions or comments? If not, we'll
Make a motion, we accept staff
No.
recommendation.
so move. 2 seconds. Larry second.
Yep.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion's carried.
Okay, the next referral is 20030V, the Town of Chatham Town Board, to local law amending the zoning law. It's local law number 1 of 2020. Amending the zoning law as it pertains to short-term rental lodging facilities in the town of Chatham. They will be adding some, the purpose that the town board found was that it is in the interest of public health, safety, and welfare to regulate through a permitting process the use of short-term rental lodging facilities occurring within the town. They're adding some definitions, a good neighbor statement, lodging facility, short-term rental local contact person. The good neighbor statement is a promotional pamphlet informational pamphlet actually, that will provide the visitors with the understanding about the property that they're renting, the neighborhood, and the relevant sections of code that would apply during their stay. And it will also include information on the boundaries of the property and also reference sections of the town code that would be applicable, specifically noise, trash removal, and parking. The definition for lodging facility is any hotel, motel, inn, bed and breakfast, dwelling unit, or other establishment providing sleeping accommodations to visitors for compensation. Short-term rental is defined as the rental of a dwelling or dwelling unit or other establishment to a visitor for less than 30 days. It excludes hotels, motels, B&Bs, and inns. The short-term rental local contact person is a person that would be the second in line for the short-term rental issues, and they must live within 20 miles of the rental. A visitor is a person visiting or residing in the town for less than 30 days. So they're also proposing short-term rental regulations. Any short-term rental would require an annual permit issued by the code enforcement officer. And it sets forth requirements that would be included in the permit that would property owners, name, address, phone number, email address, and also the contact person's information. The permit would have an annual fee of $100. It would not be transferable, and it would expire if there's any change of ownership. For short-term rentals located outside of the hamlets, they shall have a base occupancy up to 8 visitors unless there are more than 4 bedrooms. For each additional bedroom over 4 and up to 3, there may be 2 additional visitors per bedroom. Short-term rentals located within the hamlet, the base occupancy of no more than 6 visitors. Requiring that there be provision for parking on premises on the parcel. They would be allowed in all zoning districts, and every owner of a short-term rental would need to register for this permit within 120 days of this law being adopted, and it must be renewed annually. Short-term rentals located outside of Hamlet 1 and Hamlet 2 zoning districts would be limited to 2 short-term rentals per property, with only 1 short-term rental unit permitted per structure. Short-term rentals located within the Hamlet 1 and Hamlet 2 zoning districts are limited to 1 short-term rental per property, with only 1 short-term rental unit per structure. In the event that there are some issues where it requires intervention by the town, by the code enforcement officer, or other law enforcement officials, the person that would be contacted first is the owner. The owner, move forward here. The owner is responsible to respond to any complaint or occurrence in a timely manner, and responsible for responding to the service of any legal processor and all other notices. If the owner is not available and able to take the required action, then the local contact person will be contacted. However, the owner does have the right to designate the local contact person as the person that the town should contact first. That would be part of the permit process. All short-term rental owners must maintain a local contact person, and that would be part of the permit application. They set forth what was required as far as contact information for the local contact person. Now, that person should be available for responding to complaints about the condition, operation, or conduct of the occupants when the owner cannot be reached. And they must reside within 20 miles of the short-term rental. Noise shall not exceed the limits prescribed in the town code. Off-street parking in accordance with the town code. All short-term rentals shall comply with the fire and safety recommendations. Number 1, smoke and carbon monoxide detectors must be installed and operational. They must provide a 911 emergency address number that is visible from the street, and also provide visitors with emergency lights and evacuation plan with marked exits and a list of emergency contact numbers. They also set forth that the copy of the permit and the owner's contact information will be displayed in the short-term rentals, and also that the good neighbor statement will be provided to each visitor. The short-term rental owner contact person shall review this statement with the visitors to avoid trespassing on private property and any other possible violations. They also establish fines or penalties that would be in accordance with the town code and applicable state or federal laws. That failure to comply may result in forfeiture of the permit. And they also, failure to provide current contact information or accurate information on the permit would also may result in forfeiture of the permit. We didn't find countywide impacts from this. One comment, in one of the sections I read through, they described the area, and in the second section, they're referring to the zoning districts H1 and H2. So I'm suggesting that they review that section, and if it does in fact apply to the H1 and H2 zoning districts, that they revise that section to reflect that.
Patrice, I'd like to go back to the purpose for a second, the very first paragraph. It says here, the town board finds that in the interest of public safety, health, welfare, etc., to regulate through a permitting process the use of short-term rental lodging facilities. So now if I apply the 2 definitions that are down there, I would first look at a short-term rental, and that said it excludes hotels, motels, and bed. and breakfasts. If I look at the lodging facility, it includes the hotel, motel, inn, bed and breakfast. I think they've got to take, if they're going to do short-term rentals, they should take that word lodging facilities out of there, or else take the definition of lodging facilities out so it doesn't cause any confusion.
We'll add that as a comment.
Yes, please.
If Rick's got the hole puncher, he can punch it right out.
Punch it right out, Rick.
So to remove the definition of lodging from this local law. Ed, is that what?
Yes,
to remove?
I would take the lodging facilities right out of there. I would just change that to short-term rentals and make the short-term rental definition, put an S on that. That would clear up any confusion between lodging facilities and short-term rentals.
You're on mute.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm hearing a lot about people looking to rent a month or two. So if somebody just rents 31 days, none of this applies then, right?
Correct. And it wouldn't be considered a short-term rental based on their definition. And actually, I believe that
They can't be a visitor either then.
it wouldn't be a visitor, actually, by their definition.
So
I don't know
they
what
were-
that, how that would,
I think they can apply for citizenship.
Or at least residency.
I mean, I would think it was trying to do the difference between like a annual lease versus visitors. But I'm just right now. I think people are staying longer than what. Just saying. I don't care.
Well, I think they're just trying to catch the short term, and I mean, if a longer lease or whatever, that's been going on and will continue to go on.
Right. It's just that the 30 days is a little bit arbitrary these days. Same. Yeah, it sets them up for other problems, but they'll figure it out, I guess, later.
there may be something in the air, in the businesses that, the websites that actually host the short-term rentals and serve as the rental and the search agent for properties to rent short-term. There may be something in those contracts as far as the time frame. If it's in excess of 30 days, I'm not sure.
It'll be interesting to see how many houses put up the marking of the exits in the house, things like that. That's going to be. I mean,
And provide flashlights.
Don't they have to be lighted as well?
that's what I was going to just ask Terry, our architect. Does that
Yeah.
our on-staff architect?
I think that's going to be a hard thing to enforce, but it's a nice idea.
Same requirements as a commercial building.
Yeah.
Well, it's like a motel, hotel room. You've got the little diagram on the back of the door.
Yeah. Okay. Well, any other questions or comments? on
Wait,
the
are
law?
we adding comments about the definition of visitor or the type of light about the exit lights or anything like that, or no? Do you want to add more comments about those?
I'm fine with just leaving it. That's their,
Yeah.
their
Okay.
thing. And Cheryl, you're fine with
That's
just
kind of
letting it sort through
typical
it?
of
Yeah.
of any of these things for Airbnbs is that they're things that are less than 30 days.
Right.
Even in the city, the buildings consider things that are less than 30 days illegal. So it's more than 30. I mean, even if it may only be for 31 days, it's
Yeah.
still at least a month.
Has anybody ever used an Airbnb? Anybody
Yeah. Yeah.
Are any of these things like the exit mark or anything like
Never seen anything in them, no.
You kind of lose the effect of being in a home at that point. Would think. I don't know.
I mean, different people are different. I mean, I've been in one that had like a little binder that did have a lot of the information you might need.
Yeah,
They left it on a coffee table. It looked like a coffee table book, you know?
yeah,
All right.
that's a good idea.
So I don't think it has to be posted on the back of a door like a hotel room or
Yeah.
that kind of thing. But, you know, they're saying a pamphlet or something. So it was, you know, they put this into a binder. So I've had a couple of them that did that.
That's good.
Also, is it their intent, Patrice, do you believe, to not allow any meals to be served in a short-term rental?
I didn't see, in my reading of it, I didn't see anything that addressed eating or not, preparation of food or not. I mean, typically, the housing
Like your
units have kitchen facilities. I can't imagine that they would preclude them from preparing food. And the fact that they're requiring fire, smoke detectors, and that might also be a sign that they're would allow cooking. There's no reference to cooking.
Right. Okay, as long as there's no reference.
I didn't see it.
Okay, any other questions or comments? If not, we'll entertain a motion with the
I'll
one.
Make a motion.
Second.
Okay. Terry so moves, Cheryl seconds. And then was just a three comments?
Just the two. The one of the hamlet and then the lodging facility definition. What was the third comment?
We were talking about the 30 days being a visitor or a resident.
No, my mistake. I saw the three at the bottom of the comments, and that's actually from the section of law.
Yeah, that's exactly. That's the section.
Right.
So, okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, that's all the referrals for this month. We do have quite a few coming next month that I already know about. There are three from the town of Culver, three solar projects: Clover Creek Solar, Catskill View Solar, and Peter and Diana Kipp Solar. And I also received a call today about there's some modifications to the drumlins, which we already reviewed. So there's modifications to that plan, so that's getting resubmitted. It's now being referred to as Clock Estates. And also we'll be receiving the Hudson application from the city of Hudson for the Colarusso dock, the second part. We looked at the Greenport portion a couple of years ago. So I know that we have those 5 projects coming for next month already. So,
You may have one from Greenport also.
okay. And so maybe 6.
We scheduled those 3 for the public hearing in September.
Okay.
We have plenty of time.
Yeah, we had those, the first 3, the 3 solar projects, they were referred, but then all the meetings were canceled to COVID.
Yeah.
So.
We had a first planning board meeting last night, and we put a Dutch door in the entranceway, and then I stood there and took everybody's temperature and had them fill out their sheet, and then sent them back out to their car and let them in one thing at a time.
Okay.
Well, I'd like to have hopefully we can have the meeting at 401 State Street next month. We'll see how things progress. And we should have a few people from the city of Hudson probably will be there for that project. So,
Yeah, the room is limited to, I think, probably, I don't know what the capacity is. It's still in the chambers, but with social distancing and based on the capacity of the room, there will be a limit on the number of people that will be able to be present in the room.
Which is good.
yeah. So it'll be mask. Bring your masks and 6 foot.
That's not a guarantee yet, though, is it?
6
No,
foot
because-
folding ruler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Things change daily and by the hour with the executive orders and state of emergency and the different guidelines. So I won't know until later on probably, but the county meetings this month were a combination of in-person and virtual. They had a presence in 401, but they also allowed for virtual connection because that's still, that part of the open meetings law is still under the executive order from the governor. So, waived.
Patrice, do we know yet what the county planning board role will be when the large solar project down in Copake comes?
I actually received public an announcement about their filing. Heat it's being referred to as Shepherd's Run Solar, and they sent a notice of submission of preliminary scoping statement. But I'm not sure. I listened to a training session or an information session about the 94C section, and there's a lot of things that are still being worked out, and many things will be determined by the board, the ORS board that is being created as part of this section. Now it falls under executive law, the large scale solar, but there are a lot of unanswered questions at this point, and it might be we might want to consider having a training session for that later on in the fall.
I think that'd be a great idea.
Because there's a lot of changes to from the way it's handled currently or under the previous law, the Article 10, and the changes for the 94C. So I assume that it will be referred if there is a requirement for approval at the town level, then there would be likely to be referral. Haven't heard of anything that exempts or would preclude, but they're also fast tracking the review process at the state level. So it's possible, but I haven't heard one way or the other.
It has a 1-year time limit or something like that too, isn't it?
It has a time limit. Yeah.
What's the acreage on that one?
500 acres was originally.
Yeah.
Right now, smaller facilities can opt into that review process under certain conditions. So you may see some smaller sites being reviewed under that law. So.
Yep. So, okay. Anybody else have anything to bring before this illustrious board at this time?
My cat is dying. I need to go plug it fast. I've seen everybody.
You look pretty good there, Cheryl. You doing good?
I feel better than I should.
Good. Keep smiling. Keep smiling. Okay, well then,
Seen everybody.
you guys go and enjoy your evening, and thank you all.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay.
Bye, Patrice.
Usually they're out the right now.
Yeah, now.
Take care.
Good night, guys.
Good night.
Take care, Rick.
See you,
Thanks,
Ed.
everyone.
See y'all.
Everybody else.
Good night, Patrice.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night.
You're welcome.
I don't know how to leave. How do you leave? How does one leave? Oh well, you'll have to leave me.